Thursday, April the 28th, 2022, and as you can see here, I'm down in Canterbury, Kent. Third week running I'm down in Kent. Got a bit of a cloudy day at the moment, but the Met, that reliable source of weather information, advised that we're going to have some sunny intervals this afternoon, so fingers crossed they get it right for a change. This is a walk I last did a good 12 years back, but in a different format. Back then it was called the Bekesbourne circular, so I'm doing a variant today of around 12 miles from here, Canterbury, to Sturry. So I'm not going to do the full Canterbury circular, but I'm going to do the variant to Sturry. It's quite chilly today, around 10 degrees, so a bit down on what I'm used to over recent weeks. And there's a bit of a northeasterly breeze. So yeah, weather's not as good as it has been. But anyway, it's 12:15 or thereabouts. Again, should be done by around 6. Let's crack on. So from the station, we've got a bit of urban walking, some of historic interest. About to pass through the historic West Gate, passing over a minor canal here, walking down the busy St Peter's Street, passing St Peter's Church, over another canal stroke back, past the old Pilgrims Hospital. And of course, the main man, Geoffrey Chaucer. Don't recall this being here previously. And again, I don't recall much of this at the moment. Come off the high street and take a left down Mercery Lane. So the gatehouse is currently being refurbed, so not getting much of a view of it today. Now off down Burgate. Continuing on down Church Street towards another gatehouse. Passing St Paul's Church on my right. We're going to see a lot of churches today. 5 to my knowledge out in the countryside. Remnants of St Augustine's Abbey on my left here. £14 to get in, if you wish. English heritage property. So we're now joining the North Downs Way on Spring Lane. A couple of others as well. Now coming off Spring Lane onto Pilgrim's Way, which clearly is a massive giveaway. We're now on the North Downs Way, as I mentioned a moment ago, and hopefully getting out into the countryside. Don't take the obvious footpath straight ahead there, but do a left up that tarmac path. So the text refers to there being a view of the cathedral from here. Not much of one, mind. You actually get a better view of it from point 16 of the text. the industrial, light industrial area. Just over 2 miles and 40 minutes. See the rail line to Sturry there, and we're finally out into the open countryside. Lovely bluebell wood on my right. We're now following the Elham Valley Way as well as the North Downs Way. Outside Hode Farm on the map here. Passing the first of our oast conversions today. Nice thatched stable or barn next to it. Walking down the peaceful Hode Lane on the map. And as regular viewers will know, one of my favourites is about to burst forth. Bang on cue. The old cow parsley signifies my favourite time of the year as we enter May. Wonderful. Another one with a short life though. Are these the anemones that are referred to in the text? I wouldn't know. But they're on the last legs, so they could well be, seeing as they're apparently out at the end of March time. As you can see, you've got a bit of busy road walking there, a couple of 100 yards. Confirmation of what we're on, and we're now entering the interestingly named Patrixbourne, with all the associated accoutrements of the countryside here. That gives you some idea of the ages of these places. There is another church beyond that oast, but I won't be going to see that. I'm taking this footpath now on my left towards Bekesbourne train station, next to this property that's being renovated. Wonderful song thrush singing over there somewhere. The old vines over there as well. So away from the vines, just as 4 miles exactly comes up, we take this kissing gate towards Bekesbourne Church over there somewhere. And as you can see, there goes the old Bekesbourne train, which is where I started this walk previously, or a variant of it that I did all those years back. Now this is not very clever at all, not when you've got a day sack on your back. There's no hook, as there should be there, to get through this. Bloody stupid. Yeah, it's all well and good putting that signage up, but why don't you put the hooks on the post? It would make life so much easier. Idiots. First style of the day. Now going under the railway, through a very ancient iron gate. Some of the fence crossings, etc. down in Kent, as I've mentioned on the 2 walks thus far, are very rudimentary and in massive need of updating, Mr. Rustling. Wonderful apple orchard here by the looks of it. Who's going to pick these this year? Can't see any evidence of dead ones from last autumn. You've got the remains of what I believe is called well chapel here next to Nail Bourne, and I would imagine that Bourne down this way means stream. There's a lot of little hamlets and villages called Bourne. It's just in there. So that probably comes under Littlebourne if you were to Google it. Well Chapel. I think that's what it reads on the map. Could be Dell, but I think it's Well. Makes sense. As it's very flat in this area, I think the height variations today are between 6 and 167 foot. So that'll give you an idea. The fields are given over for the main part to cereals, but the field sizes are not massive, so it's still good for nature. You can tell we're in the country, eh? Hums a bit, I must admit. Quite marshy on my right, and as you can see a grey heron over there just taking off. Oh, hopefully you saw that. But this would ordinarily be cattle country by the looks of the manure down there. But once again, thankfully, I'm not encountering any. So it's 3 weeks now. Mind you, having said that, I can hear some in the distance. So let's not count me chickens just yet. We'll talk of the devils. And they are appropriately black as well. Hundreds of them. And we're calves. So, just as well I'm not on that side of the fence. I would have been surprised if they weren't in these marshy areas. So that's Carrington Farm, and there's a couple of walkers down there with a dog. They are taking their lives in their hands, mate. Idiots. One of the first rules of the countryside code: put your dog on a lead around cattle. Jesus, they deserve to be attacked. Entering Littlebourne. Plenty of goldfinches behind me. Following this side road, which is closed to traffic today, to Ickham, where I propose deviating and having my lunch. Sounds like a nice idea, eh? Working out in the orchard here. Wonderful. Okay, don't go ahead here next to the playing field, but turn right towards the church on the map. Walking through Littlebourne Church, where unfortunately there's a funeral service about to happen, so I won't be filming inside. There's a wonderful barn over there as well, which I do believe I read a little bit about in the notes on the way down. So maybe if you Google that, barn at Littlebourne, next to the church here, you might be able to learn some more information. Wonderful old church. Well, that church had the interesting name of St Vincent of Saragossa. Never come across one of those before. Littlebourne Church, if you wish to Google it. And I've just seen my second swallow. So summer, although not made yet, is coming. Still no cuckoo, mind, and this is definitely cuckoo terrain for sure. Marshy, low-lying, woody, So, fingers crossed, we might get to hear one this afternoon. Although it is a little bit fresh for it, I must admit. And there's an interesting walk if you wish to check that out. So by this mill somewhere is the turning right to Ickham. The main walk continues straight on, but as I say, I'm doing the deviant off. And indeed, the footpath is right in front of Littlebourne Mill. Which is being refurbed as we speak. Four lovely hosts there. And I think that's Ickham Church. Soon find out. So there's a possible lunchtime pub, Duke William, bed and breakfast. Looks like it's independent. Certainly got some glowing history behind it. Meet the brewer. So there you go, very independent. I don't know if you can read that, but scratched into that wood it says St John the Evangelist, Ickham. So that lies ahead of me there. And I can't read what that says up there. Ye old something or other. I'll have to catch it from the other side if I can. No, not possible from this side. Lovely thatched barn again all the way up to the church. And as you may have noticed, several seats out on this little green in front of the church, should there be no seats in the church itself. Very interesting clock dial there. Quite amazing, never seen anything like that before. And it's right as well. And there's about half a dozen, let me just check, swallows, yep. So summer's definitely here now. Flying all over the place above this barn. Interesting lich gate here, 1914 to 1919, in memoriam. God rest their souls as the war in Ukraine continues, sadly. Interesting way of remembering these guys in the lich gate. Wonderful. Rest in peace, chaps. And behind me, First World War. Even remembers how and where they were killed. North Devon Hussars, HMS Pathfinder. Amazing. Rest in peace, chaps. That looks very like what I filmed a couple of weeks back in, God, I can't remember where it was now. But that's a dog table, of which there are very few left. So to see two within 3 weeks is quite amazing. And apparently the dole table is how we get the term on the dole. If you Google that, you'll find a bit of history behind it. It's to do with handouts and what have you by the church in this case. But yeah, the old expression, which you don't hear much these days, political correctness gone mad again. but yeah, on the dole. Well, there you go. There is one chair or seat at the very back of the church, looking out into open countryside again. So 2.5 hours in, 7 miles on the button, and 2:45ish. This will make a lovely lunchtime spot, thanks to Ivan and Rosemary here, who love this place. Thanking you. Okay, 3:30, lunch has been had. The journey continues. This is the best shot I can get of Ickham Church. Because of the yew trees, there's no sort of way of getting a complete picture of it. There's some interesting holes in the roof. I wonder what's made them or is nesting up there. Several of them. First pillbox of the day. And a final look back at Ickham Church. Crossing over the little store here, S-T-O-U-R. There's a number of these stores in the country. This is the little store. As we approach the apparently very picturesque village of Wickhambreaux, and believe it or not, as I suggested, I've just heard a cuckoo. It's over there somewhere. Probably all you're hearing is wind. There you go. Wow, I knew this was their terrain. If I didn't hear one today, then I never will. Beautiful. So, summer's definitely here, albeit it feels like January at the moment. Which was the last time I did this walk, January 2012. So another decade. There you go. So you can see why this is described as straight out of a Hollywood film set. Wisteria Cottage. Lovely. Seems they've got everything here. Cuckoos, hedgehogs. There's the Rose Inn, a free house, another potential lunchtime stop. The village church here is under renovation. A couple of seats on the village green as well. Another classic Wickhambreaux property. Not sure what's growing under these polytunnels, but can I feel the heat coming from them? Might be tomatoes, I don't know. No, not tomatoes. God knows what. I don't know. Interesting use of conifers on the windward side to protect these polytunnels. And it's certainly a big operation, whatever they're growing in there. Might be hops, don't know. No, not hops, because they grow to a greater height. Vines of some sort, perhaps. There's the plant, if anyone knows what that is, because I don't. Still on that Augustine Camino again. Yeah, I do recall this vaguely in the back of my mind. So we say goodbye to the polytunnels at this juncture. Go through this gap in the hedge. Lovely hedge it is as well. To follow a very clearly defined path across a wheat field, I think. So clearly that could be a bit of a trudge if you're tackling that in the winter months or any time after heavy rain. Well done the farmer though. Looking northwesterly over Stodmarsh, very pastoral and agricultural. And talking of pastoral, there's my second spotting of the beasts. Yeah, let's hope I don't have to cross their territory. Chaffinch in the background there somewhere. Now one bird that I haven't seen for years is a bullfinch. Very rare bird. Never hear it singing either. Well, not that it sings, but making that sound that it makes, a bit like the chaffinch does. So you wouldn't need all that rigmarole, southern water, if you combined with DEFRA and produced a handheld app. That's what you need to be thinking about. Just like Pathwatch. So here we go, entering Stodmarsh. Plenty of chiff-chaffs around. Another lovely church at Stodmarsh here. And there's a single bench over there. Don't know if I've used that before. Can't recall. There's the old chaffinch. Be lovely to hear a bullfinch though. And from the side, with an old host beside it. So that's another one I won't be going into today. That is St Mary, I now learn. Approaching the Red Lion, which is mentioned in the text as a good option for those that prefer good country cooking. I walk along this lane now for the rest of the walk, I do believe, to Fordwich. Solidarity with the Ukrainians out here as well. Rightly so. It's interesting, it's a Green King pub. Didn't realise Green King were down here. More of the beasts. And I have a suspicion I'm going to have to tackle those cows I filmed earlier. It's looking worryingly ominous to me. Well, there's the beasts. And luckily I'm still on the lane. So, lucky again. As there are a lot of them about. As can be seen. And the youngsters are particularly boisterous today, leaping about all over the place. There is an option here to go over this stile and walk across this field instead of in the lane, but there are cattle in there as well, so clearly I won't be doing that. That's West Beer, on the map over there, that lake. And as you can see, it then gets a bit industrial over on the left as you hit the Marshlands. We're probably on the high point of the walk today now. As I say, 167 foot. Well, in fact, I just checked and it's only 72 foot up here. So not the high point of the walk. Looking back at the polytunnels. And this might explain why there's not so many cattle out in the fields, calving time. Although I don't think that's been an issue in the past. Just not so many cattle about, thankfully. Some lovely gorse up here, which seems a bit unusual, seeing as it's marshland not so far yonder. But anyway, good to see. And this lane is actually quite okay. All I've encountered thus far is farm traffic. So good. And this is where that path would have come out if you didn't walk along the lane. So as I say, the options there, if you want to tackle a few cattle. In fact, you don't even need to tackle them because they're well away from the hedge, which is pretty much the path. So as you can see, there's some help yourself, not help yourself, but serve yourself freshly grown organic stuff, no doubt, at this property called Highwood. And we're about 10 mile in. Well, in fact we are, because I've just been told by the GPS. And just opposite Highwood, this is the view towards Westbeer. Getting a little bit urban now and industrial. Not much, but getting that way. Been some timber clearance here, but still another lovely collection of bluebells, eh? Wonderful. And with each passing week they get that bit fuller and more luxuriant in their colour. Fantastic. Knock the spots off the Spanish ones. Interlopers that they are. And here we go. Undoubtedly that'll be asbestos based. It really is a shocking nightmare and explains yet again why we need a handheld like Pathwatch. Disgusting. So I've got sheep to the left me, cows to the right, and here you are stuck in the middle with me. Stuck in the middle with you, clowns to the left me, jokers to the right, etc, etc. Wonderful, eh? So at a point near Ickham Farm on the map, we leave the lane and go through this kissing gate here. Good to see more kissing gates in the walk today. And the 1658 has just pulled into Sturry. Looking over Sturry from a point near Ickham Farm here on my left. And the onward journey, luckily enough again, is between two cattle fields, fenced off. Now another section through woodland. Not many of them today, so this is a nice finale, particularly when it's full of bluebells like this. Glorious. Okay, today of course, but this could be a quagmire at the wrong time of year. Plenty of logging going on. Now on the Elham Valley walk. Wonderful. Not sure what these trees are. There might be some form of poplar. Downy, is it downy poplar? Seeing as we're in relatively low-lying terrain. Don't know. Certainly regenerates well, as you can see there, from whatever it is. Maybe some form of willow, aspen. Don't know. So you can just make out the water's edge over there. If you check that on the map, you'll see how close we are. Can't always gauge it from inside this woodland. There you get a better view. And what's that up there? Can't see. Cormorant possibly, with a no, it wouldn't be an egret, would it? I can't tell. I'm at maximum range as well. Whitethroat singing near me, more guttural than the blackcap. In there somewhere. Well, I was wrong. I can't get a clear focus on it because of the leaf in front, but that's a warbler of some kind. Damn. Wish I could have got a better image of it. Just outside the Fordwich Arms. And that's just about all I can get of the church at Fordwich. Another shot of the church from the car park of the Fordwich Arms. So I'm just opposite the Georgian Dragon, and there's an information panel here all about the St Augustine Trail, of which we've been seeing stickers today, except it's called the Camino Augustine, because it was a monk from Rome that it's named after. It's like Piccadilly Circus down here at the moment. Rush hour, 5:30. Georgian Dragon. Having just crossed over the store, now crossing over a tributary of it. Okay, I've recorded 12.6 miles, 4 hours 43, so I'm back just in time for the 17:58. And that was a very pleasant walk out in the Kentish countryside. Sun's just poking out, unfortunately, just as I'm leaving, but can't complain. It was dullish. The sunny intervals that were forecast didn't materialise, but no complaints. It was dry, that was the main thing. Could be a bit of a trudge in places underfoot in wet weather or after wet weather, but otherwise a good walk, mix of urban and rural for the most part, but 2 miles before you get out of Canterbury and 40 minutes or so, a bit of a trudge out, but no, a good walk, highly recommended. So that's free walk 121 completed.